empower your journey, shift your consciousness, and transform your reality. And how are we going to do that? I'm so glad you asked, girl, by shifting this mind. Shift your mind and you will shift your life. Greetings, beautiful bright stars and amazing ones. Welcome to Miss Dana Mich'elle Speaks. I am Miss Dana Mich'elle, the conscious creator, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, Neville Goddard talks about, he has a quote, it's not verbatim, but he has a quote. And he basically says, the rain falls as a result of the shift in the temperature in the high regions of the atmosphere. And likewise, if you want to shift in your circumstances, it's going to take a shift here in the high regions of your mind, of your consciousness, in order for you to see a shift in your outer reality. So we talk about, there's a scripture that says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Everything begins with the mind. You know, I like to say that the mind is a soil from which everything grows. Your thought is a seed, and you, dear heart, are the gardener. Plant wisely and grow something amazing. So what are some ways that we can shift this mindset? Oh, girl, I'm so glad you asked. So one of the ways we can shift the mindset is by mindful meditation. So as I stated, I like to say that the mind is the soil from which everything grows, because it truly is. Everything starts with a mindset. And so we prepare, look at it as you're preparing the soil of your mind when you meditate. And as we meditate, we want to focus on our breath, focus on that vision. And as we begin to focus and just relax, that's when we are preparing the soil of our mind to allow that thought seed in, right? And that thought seed is a vision that you have for yourself. What is the vision that you see that you want to create in your life? Do you see a vision for your health shifting, a vision for your finances shifting, a vision for a relationship shifting? What is it that you want to see? Your dream. This is your vision. You get to plant that in the soil of your mind. You plant that seed. And when you plant that seed, that thought seed, thoughts give birth to feelings. And feelings is where we water the seed. Oh, yeah. We're going to water that seed with our feelings. Now, see, if you don't have feelings after, if you just think a thought and there's no feeling there, it's just a thought. More than likely, that thought will be aborted, right? But if you have feeling with it, look at it like this. If the thought was a car, the feelings will be the gas. It's what's going to get it going. It's what's going to get it going. So you want to make sure that when you are in that meditative state, ready to receive that vision, right? Whatever that vision is for you, receive that vision. You want to water it with the feelings. In fact, the feelings is a secret sauce. You are not to get up until you actually feel it. And I mean, like, feel it in your bones, right? You feel it from the crown of your head through the length of your body to the soles of your feet. You feel that thing, and you don't get up until you do. Okay. And so when you feel it like that, you're onto something. You're onto something. Next, you want to speak a life too over that. When you are watering that seed, you also want to speak a life over it. You speak a life and take action. Of course, you're going to take action. So first you're going to meditate, then you're going to plant that thought seed, then you're going to give birth to those feelings and water it with those feelings. And then you want to act on that. Because you'll be moved to action. When you feel something, you're going to be moved to act on something. Like, oh, I feel it. I feel it. So it should leave after your meditation. You should be inspired, right? I like to call it AI action. You should be inspired to take AI action, aligned and inspired. So it should be aligned with that vision that you have. Take that action. And you want to speak life. That's the next one. Speak life over that vision. And that's another, actually, when you speak life, that's another way of watering the vision. You see, when you have thoughts or words, you're watering it with your words. And see, thoughts and words are they're like two sides of the same coin, right? So thoughts are words unspoken. Words are thoughts spoken. So it's almost like another way of watering that. So your feelings watered. And when you speak it, you're watering that seed. You're consistently watering that seed. And so you just want to make sure that it's in alignment with what it is that you want to see come to pass. You don't want to think one thing and then, you feel something, but then you're speaking something different. All of that needs to be congruent, right? All of it come into alignment. And when it comes into alignment, it's so powerful. And then you can begin to see your vision unfold and see your words. When you're speaking, that's another way you're speaking. We call, you may have heard it. Some refer to it as affirmations. I like to call them declarations, or auto suggestions is another way that you may have heard it. No matter how you've heard it, or you may say it yourself, when you have those words, when you're speaking those words, speak it and feel it. Speak it and feel it. Speak it and feel it. It's not enough just to speak it. I can say whatever. I can say, You ever heard somebody say something to you and you weren't feeling it at all? They didn't mean it. Like, yeah, they really sound like they want to do that for me, right? They sound dry. What they're saying is, like, yay, right? What they're saying. But the way they're saying it, it's dry. It has no feeling to it. And you're like, they don't answer me like that. The heck? You're like, So, you can go ahead on with all of that. Never mind. Somebody act like they don't want to do something. You're like, yeah, I do it. You're like, excuse you, you're not doing me any type of favors. Never mind, I'll do it myself, right? Because it was so dry. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have that feeling. You got to water it. It needs it. If something dry, it needs some water. It needs some water. So you want to make sure you're watering it with your feelings. Water that seed. And so, like I said, you have the meditation, you have the thoughts, you have the feelings, you have the actions, aligned and inspired action, baby. And then you have uh the speaking, right? You have the speaking. Yeah, you have the speaking, and then you have thankfully receiving. There's something about gratitude that just it opens you up to receive and to receive the abundance into your life. Receive it. So when you can just, thankfully receive, when you have a vision for something, have an attitude of gratitude, like it's already done. It's just done. And you're just thankfully receiving that vision because it's done. I see it in my mind's eye. It's done. It's done. It's done. I see it. I feel it. It is so, and so it is. It's a done deal. And so all of this begins, it goes back to the renewing of your mind. And these are some ways that you can keep your mind renewed, is by feeding yourself that vision, feeling it, and there's something, let me tell you something. So thoughts, a lot of times we have, you've heard people say, well, that's just the way I am. That's just the way I am. Well, I mean, if they want to stay that way, then cool, have it. If it works for you, if you like it, I love it. So I just want you to know that you can change by the renewing of your mind, because our mind is just it's not this solid thing that we just cannot change. It's just a brick. No, there's something called neuroplasticity, right? And so when you think new thoughts and you keep feeding yourself, like through the auto suggestion or the affirmations or declarations, however you like to say it, when you do that, it allows for new neural pathways to be formed. And so instead of, like, maybe you took the old, you used to go this way all the time in your thinking, right? Your path was this way. Your path was this way. This happens, oh, I automatically go this way, right? Or think this thought. This is the way I go. This is the way my mind operates. However, when you begin to be intentional and conscious about what you're doing and what you're thinking, and you begin to think differently and giving yourself different thoughts and new visions, then it begins this new path over here. If you keep on doing it and keep on doing it and keep on doing it, yes, I'm repeating myself, and you keep on doing it, then after a while, this is going to take precedence over this old beaten path over here. Now, this one is going to become my new old beaten path, right? And so now I begin to shift things. And then just like with the rain, it falls because there's a shift in the higher atmosphere, the higher region of the atmosphere, then of the temperature, right? So temperature shifts in the higher regions. So then that's when the rain comes down. So likewise, when this is full, when you get this full, you get that new mindset, that new state of consciousness. When you keep feeding it and keep feeding it, and get a new neural pathways are formed, then guess what? Then that's when you begin to see the shift in your outer reality. And that is how you're going to do that. And all of this begins with you. This all begins with you. It's not another person is needed. You're needed. So you want to make sure that this is, and that's where it's so empowering because, baby, it's you all you need. This is not, I didn't say go get another person and go do this. No, this is all you. It begins with you. It all begins with a change of consciousness. So remember, empower your journey, shift your consciousness, and transform your reality. We'll be talking more about that later. And if you like this, you go ahead and click that like button, share this with someone that you think who needs to hear this. And let me know if you have some more ways that you want to shift your mindset. Let me hear from you down below. That's my time. I thank you so very much for yours. I love you. I mean it. Mwah.